One of my top recommended travel credit cards for years has been the Chase Sapphire Reserve. But Chase has made a number of fundamental changes to this card over the past year that have some people pretty upset. One of them was raising the annual fee to a whopping $795. And so in this video, I want to break down whether or not this card is still worth it. I'll walk you through the changes that have been made to the card and the exact framework that I used as a longtime cardholder to decide whether or not to keep mine. Because let's face it, $795 is not nothing. So let's do the math and see if it makes sense for you. Now, before we get into anything else, I'll say up front, if you do not have this card yet and you're considering it, the welcome bonus makes it very attractive. As of recording, the current welcome bonus is 125,000 points after you spend $6,000 in the first 3 months from account opening. At a conservative 2 cents per point, which is absolutely achievable through transfer partners, that's $2,500 in value from the bonus alone. So for year one, I think the bonus easily justifies the expense of the card. But what about after that? The earning rates are solid. You get 8x points through Chase Travel, 4x points on flights and hotels booked direct, 3x points on dining, and 1x points on everything else. But the major criticisms of the changes to this card center around two things that I'll walk you through. First is credits. This card comes with a ton of statement credits. First and foremost, a $300 annual travel credit. This automatically applies to eligible travel purchases each account anniversary year. It applies to airlines, hotels, parking, tolls, transit, pretty much anything that codes as travel. If you spend $300 or more on travel per year, you're getting this back, period. Now, you don't earn points on that first $300, but it's real money back. So I say that first to say your real annual fee is more like $495 if you use this. Now you have to find $495 elsewhere amongst these credits to break even. And Chase is saying that if you can use all the credits, you get up to $2,700 in annual value. On paper, they're not wrong. But let me quickly run you through these and explain how I personally evaluated this. On the travel side of things, you can get up to $120 toward global entry, TSA PreCheck, or Nexus every 4 years. Up to $500 annually toward premium hotel bookings through Chase Travel's The Edit collection, lounge access via Priority Pass Select, and access to the Sapphire lounges currently at Boston, LaGuardia, JFK, Vegas, Phoenix, and supposedly with more coming. Chase is saying that alone is worth $469. Then there's all the dining and lifestyle credits, up to $300 in annual dining credits at Sapphire Reserve exclusive tables, split $150 January through June, and then $150 July through December. $300 annual StubHub credit, up to $300 annually in DoorDash promos, Apple TV Plus and Apple Music, $120 annual Lyft credit, $120 annual Peloton membership credit, which is $10 a month, valid through December 2027. Now that is a lot, but you don't need to use every single credit to make this card worth it. The way I think about it is hard credits versus soft credits. A hard credit is money you would have spent anyways. It's legitimate savings. A soft credit is one that encourages you to spend money you wouldn't have otherwise spent. If you use the $300 travel credit plus a small handful of others that are genuinely hard credits for you, the card easily clears the net fee. So here's what I did. I took all of these credits and I charted them out. And I thought maybe sharing my personal situation would be helpful for you. Hard credits for me, the $300 travel credit. Hard credit. We travel multiple times a year. This is automatic. Apple Music and Apple TV. We already had these subscriptions, so that is roughly $288 per year in my pocket. Global entry, TSA PreCheck, trusted traveler, that credit. Hard credit. I have this through Chase Sapphire Reserve already. I cannot imagine ever going back to not having trusted traveler programs like Global Entry or TSA PreCheck. But you pay only once every 5 years, so the annual benefit here is really only like $30. Lyft. I definitely don't use Lyft or any rideshare for that matter every single month. I might use it a few times per year, so let's conservatively say I'll take advantage of that $10 credit 3 times, so $30. I'll also mention we now never have to pay for primary rental car coverage. Chase doesn't attribute a value to that, but this is real savings too. Those are our hard credits. Now, there's a few other perks and promos we take advantage of that we definitely use, but I wouldn't call them hard credits at all. Lounge access. So we fly enough that we actually use this. Now, this isn't any kind of statement credit, but Chase is saying this is worth $469. The thing is, I'm not spending money to get this benefit, but if I didn't have the card, would I really be paying out of pocket to get lounge access? Knowing myself, no, probably not. But I would be buying food at the airport, so I'm going to give a value to this, but I'm going to give my own rough approximation. Let's say we would use these lounges 5 times per year, and the food and beverages consumed would have been $50 out of pocket each time if I'd had to buy food and bev at the airport. So I'm going to call it $250 total. Also, for a lot of travelers, I recognize Priority Pass is a bit of a mixed bag, especially if you mostly fly domestic. And Sapphire lounges, though extremely nice, kind of only makes sense if you fly through those specific airports a lot. The only soft credit we use, and I'll be very honest here, is DoorDash. I got the Dash Pass membership several years ago when Sapphire Reserve first introduced this. And I would say we're trying to do less, honestly, but as a household, we DoorDash at least once a week. Would we have begun this habit if Sapphire Reserve hadn't made it part of the card? No, probably not. But we do get the value of free delivery and roughly $10 per month in coupons. So that's $120 and $120 respectively. Credits we will probably never use: Peloton, StubHub, exclusive tables. If you live in a major city where you have a lot of options, I think exclusive tables is a no-brainer, but we don't, and so we might not ever use it. So conservatively, looking at my household, I think in statement credits alone, we're getting a little over $1,100 of value per year. I think if you live in a more major city where you do more ride shares, where you would use the dining credit, you could get a lot more value. Or if you're already someone who stays in a lot of fancy hotels, the edit credits might be very appealing. And I want to talk about the hotel credits specifically because there's actually a pretty cool strategy here if you're someone who stays at nicer hotels. The edit credit is $500 per year, split $250 first half, $250 second half. And this applies to prepaid bookings at hotels in Chase's edit collection. Over 1,100 premium properties like Park Hyatt, Pendry, Montage, and it's a 2-night minimum. When you book through the edit, you also get complimentary daily breakfast for 2, a $100 property credit for dining or spa, and you still earn hotel loyalty points. And then there's a 2026 only credit of $250 for select hotel brands: IHG, Montage, Pendry, Omni, Virgin Hotels, Minor, and Pan Pacific. Same 2-night minimum. Well, what's neat about this is some properties qualify for both, meaning you can double dip. Find a hotel that's in the edit collection and is one of the select brands, like a Pendry property or an Intercontinental, and you could potentially stack these credits. People are calling this the Sapphire stack. On a hypothetical 2-night stay, you could get $250 from the select hotels credit, $250 from the edit credit, and the value of your $300 flexible travel credit if you haven't used that yet. That's up to $800 in value. Pretty wild if you can make it work. But, and I want to be very clear about this, if stacking these credits means you book a really expensive property and you end up spending way more, it's a soft credit. All right, here's the other big change that really ruffled some feathers: points value in Chase travel. Using the Sapphire Reserve, you used to get a guaranteed 1.5 cents per point in value when you redeemed your Chase Ultimate Rewards points for travel bookings made in Chase Travel. Simple, predictable, easy math. The new system is a baseline of 1 cent per point, and you can get up to 2 times value, but only on specific flights and hotels that show this points boost icon, which doesn't show up as often as you might hope. So yeah, if you loved the simple 1.5 cents per point guarantee, this is a downgrade. I get it. But here's why I'm not crying about it. The main value of Chase Ultimate Rewards was never the travel portal. The real value for me has always been transferring points to airline and hotel partners. That's where you get outsized value. 2 cents per point at least, but I've had redemptions of 7, 9, up to 17 cents per point on the right redemptions. World of Hyatt is still incredible. Air Canada Aeroplan has amazing sweet spots. Virgin Atlantic lets you book Delta One to Europe for way less than you'd expect. Chase Travel is not why I love Chase Ultimate Rewards points. Transfer partners are. This year alone, and it's only February, I've used Chase Ultimate Rewards points to book 5 long-haul international business class seats for myself and my family. If we had paid cash for those flights at retail prices, we're talking $30,000. And aside from taxes and fees, we paid nothing. That is the value of this card and of these points, not whether you're getting 1.5 cents or 1 cent in a travel portal. So in my opinion, even though some changes have been made to this card, you do not need to become a coupon clipping maniac to make it work. Do the math for yourself. Use what makes sense for you, okay? Ignore what doesn't. And if the math still works, keep the card. If you don't have this card yet and you decide it's right for you, please be sure to use the links below, which help us keep making helpful content like this. And all the legal affiliate disclosures can be found down there as well. And if you're a person who's interested in earning some Chase Ultimate Rewards points, but you just can't stomach the idea of a $795 annual fee, there might be a better card for you. So check out my full review of it right here. Thanks so much for watching. Happy travels.